The global metaverse market is estimated to reach nearly $400 billion in the next 2 years. Revenue has largely been concentrated in the gaming space so far, with content outside of it slow to follow. But the virtual world is increasingly being used by Fortune 500 companies to bring employees together in a hybrid work environment. I set out to explore the metaverse with headset in hand. From happy hours along the waterfront to a meeting with a view, virtual reality technology is transforming the office experience. There are no Zoom calls in the metaverse or those muted squares.
Cheers.
This version of work transports workers to any location, anytime they choose.
I think after 2 years of Zoom or Teams or whatever you use, most people are exhausted and sick of looking at their own picture, sick of being on there. So actually to be in a virtual setting that feels much more close is really unique.
And with companies increasingly opting for remote work, more and more employees are strapping on their headsets to connect in the metaverse. Boston Consulting Group's Sara Willersdorf took me inside for a virtual tour.
Welcome to our metaverse, or at least one of our rooms.
This looks like a really cold room. Where are we?
A nondescript snowy mountain range, which is perfect to collaborate and learn.
For BCG, that's meant retreats in snowy resorts and pitch meetings in the tropics off-site. The company has held more than 5,500 virtual sessions so far, using the metaverse to unite a global workforce with a click of a controller.
How much of the use, at least at BCG, was accelerated by the pandemic?
A lot. What I would say is at BCG, because we have a lot of people thinking about future innovation, the thought was there were already a number of people thinking about what it meant, but it was a little bit more theoretical. What's happened now is it's accelerated both because we have a real need to work in a hybrid way and in a virtual way, and our clients are increasingly asking about it.
In fact, the company estimates the metaverse market will grow to $400 billion in the next 3 years. That's opened up big opportunities for design firms like Interior Architects, a firm better versed in real-life physical spaces.
7 years ago, we started using virtual reality for design. As that technology evolved, right when we all went home, we got some immediate interest from clients who had worked with us in VR, saying, well, what about this extended reality stuff?
Guy Messick gave me a tour of one of his offices, a virtual space inspired by a real workspace in Midtown Atlanta, except this one's built along the coast of South Africa.
The design team picked a spot. And so we found this lovely spot, more of a village on the coast, and we transported it here.
Much better than a long flight.
Yeah.
And there are other perks. A fire pit complete with marshmallow sticks, benches and tables by the water with virtual drinks.
Cheers.
Cheers.
There we go.
Each corner comes with its own work tools, a whiteboard to jot ideas, Post-it notes that expand.
You can put them anywhere. I can put it over on the table. But they also have a magnet, if you will, for the marker board.
You can even create models to size up and size down. It's all surrounded by realistic features like trees blowing in the wind and water rippling. While the experience may be limited to inside the headset now, Messick says it's likely to merge with reality as technology advances.
So a mixed reality is when you will be observing your office the way it is now, and you'll be greeting people from other locations as avatars and holograms. And they will also be seeing yours and so forth. We think that that's very near future.
And so this all got us thinking, naturally, about what Yahoo Finance would look like in the metaverse. Now, we asked Arthur Digital, which designed, by the way, that BCG metaverse. We sent him about like 6 photos. So not a very elaborate picture.
Right.
But you know, Brian, you can vouch for this, whether it actually looks like our office. I would argue the one perk here, and this is the thing with the metaverse, look at that view. That is not our view from the office.
No,
That's
it's
probably
not.
from, what, the
way
50th
nicer.
floor, even higher?
It's like a Hudson Yards view.
Yeah, it's a Hudson Yards view, but that's what we're finding increasingly in the metaverse. These companies were saying, look, yes, we want to get together virtually because we're not together physically, but we want an upgrade. And so this is what you get. I mean, look, I don't look like that clearly, so we have to work on the avatars a bit more, but it is interesting to see how that's being supplemented. Everybody's sick of Zoom calls, and while we talk a lot about the metaverse with Meta, / Facebook, Mark Zuckerberg's view, it really is kind of in the simplest terms that it's being used right now.
And I think that a lot of people, when they hear the metaverse, they think gaming, they think of kind of casual uses. But I think what, this whole BCG view tells us is that there is a real use case in the enterprise side of things to get companies on board with this type of thing, especially with the prevalence of remote work, as you kind of nicely described there. I think that last demonstration where, if you're doing mock-ups or whatever and you have presentations, it can be a lot more interactive than just a boring slideshow, which why do you have to be in the room present for that anyway, right? So the only other takeaways are that, first of all, I didn't realize that there were hands, because I've seen versions of the avatars where it's just
no
like
legs.
you don't have legs, yeah. But you couldn't make yourself a little taller in the metaverse?
See, this is the thing. Either you all stand in the metaverse or
Okay.
you sit down. I think I might have done a lot of that sitting down. I mean, obviously, for those who don't know, I'm much shorter in real life probably, but this one, we're standing.
Yeah.
Which is why you see kind of our height staggered. But
So wait, you're standing in real life, you're
I
saying?
am sitting in real life.
Oh, okay, but you
So-
can sit down. That's the
You
reason why
can
you don't
sit
have
down.
legs in the metaverse.
You can sit down, but I don't know. The avatar scares me a little, I would say.
Yeah, well, I'm sure they'll refine that. Maybe you could use
Yeah.
me avatars.
Yeah.